Morning. Just been adjusting sort of brightness. I'm in the living room today. Very fancy. You will hear in the background, it's gone quiet now, but you will be hearing some pig shenanigans. I can't remember what the last show I did was. Let's have a look. I don't know if I've done one since the Kickstarter finished. Have I? Let me look on my live. ZUCC with Warfest 2 weeks ago. I haven't done a live since the Kickstarter's finished, other than my little impromptu on Facebook. So I got loads to talk about. Loads. I've got loads to show you because I've been making stuff. So where shall we begin? I've got coffee. It's on the floor because I haven't got a little. There is stuff everywhere. Andy's away at the moment, which means I'm doing all of my hobbies at once with the plan that I've tidied it all away before he gets back. That's the goal. That is the goal. Oh, there's more stuff. I've got a little list today as well. It's in Annie scroll, so whether it'll be readable is another thing. I don't know what to start on. I'll start on my starter because it was Ace, wasn't it? So thank you. Moving. Thank you, everyone who backed. I didn't mean to do a video afterwards. It was the best Kickstarter I've ever ran. Best project. It just happened to be on Kickstarter. It's the best project I've ever done, and I'm so happy with it. If you say you've been following this, you know I've been a bit bummed out by stuff. I've just been plodding through, and it's just given me this like absolute jolt of enthusiasm, which is amazing and very nicely timed. And it's just partly it's just everything's been getting more difficult, and then you think, bloody hell, is this for an end? And then you do a really cool World War II anti-fascist Kickstarter, and you meet loads of really cool people. So I've chatted to so many people in this project. So many people have given me ideas for the next one. Ones because I want to do loads more of this. Telling stories has been great. I've not even begun to tell the stories. My overarching theme of life, but especially at the moment, is time. I am just juggling so much. I'm running out of time for everything. But oh, that's something else I need to put on the list. There we are. So I will be doing a lot more. Don't think that the Kickstarter's finished. Now I don't care because I know that my social media is now pivoted somewhat. It's gone right, Kickstarter done. Trench Crusade, folks. But there will be lots more coming. It's just again me juggling around. I want to be doing some little videos on them all, and I have to do write-ups for them for my next project. So I'll be having to do write-ups. So I might as well do those write-ups, then turn them into videos. And I just want to keep talking about these people because I've got so attached to them as well along the way. I'm just looking at Claude. I will be talking about Claude Kuhn and Marcel Moore, who I've just finished. You can tell it's when Annie's got all their little, which does have a system now. When I first started doing it, people were like, "Is there a system to those colours?" And I went, "Nah, not really." And there is now. Ooh, what is it? Also, if I do have a book where I haven't done all these, just means I didn't have them when I was reading it. I use them as bookmarks. I think this one's been released now. I think it's free, but they come in these like little slips, so I use them as bookmarks. So it's a nice make sure I've got a little notey thing on me then. So I was noting on the tram, like a nerd. Um, so yeah, thank you so much. The Kickstarter was amazing. Obviously, Facebook's now been pushing it to people now that it's finished. So I need to get the pledge manager built, which was vaguely in this week's plans, but it's now going to be vaguely in next week's plans. Get the Kickstarter pledge manager up. I haven't even looked if anyone's failed to pay. Shall I look now? Obviously, won't tell you who. That wouldn't be allowed. Let me go Kickstarter. So it tells you almost immediate. Takes soon as the Kickstarter finishes. Oh, it takes your cache. Log in, yes. But then it tells you whose payments failed, and I normally leave them for a bit and let them sort it out. But I haven't actually checked how many have I got. I haven't got any PMs. That's a good sign. Women of Resistance. Back a report. Look at them there. They're so good. Search by all backers. Status. Error. No, no way, really? Did no one error? Errored, dropped? Maybe its client has dropped. Have I had no dropped or errored payments? Oh, what's this? Oh no, they're people who left. Hang on. I think they're people that left, not failed to. How do they count in the... Just me chatting away now. Oh, that's weird. So now it keeps what have we got? It keeps the details of the people who left. Interesting. I can message them. You couldn't do that before, so I can message and go, "Oi." Yes, one of my friends is in there. Sucks to be him. Yeah, you can message people and go, "Oi, why did you back? Why did you back out on my Kickstarter?" And send my guys round. Oh, that's cool. That must be new. I've not seen that before. Why you leave me? Um, I guess what you could put, I could put something like, it may not be the right time for you, but you are still welcome to join in the pledge manager later. That's if they dropped out because they didn't have much money, rather than if they hate me. Oh, that's interesting. Sorry, it's just me rambling, going, "I'll be damned, Kickstart." But nobody's payment failed. That's bizarre. There's normally a few, so that's good. So there's no one to chase up awkwardly, which is good. Where you go, "Thank you, but you need..." Sweet. So it's like 2.5 to 3 weeks after the Kickstarter that they actually give me the money, and I'm so penny pinching at the moment. So you're like, "But you got all that money." I'm like, "No, yet." They hold on to it. I think they get the interest or something because they take the money immediately. So there's no, they give this 2 weeks to collect, so it gives you time, yeah, if people's payments have failed. But I don't think they need that 2 weeks. They're obviously sitting on that cash a little bit. But that'll be in, and then I'll be like, cash everywhere. Um, so yes, thank you for the short story. Thank you for backing the Kickstarter. It means so much, and it's the thing the project I've been the most passionate about, and I'm really glad I can look into someone with a gun off screen, not looking at my books. Um, you like it, one, that you really like it because you've said you do, but in a business sense, because you've thrown money at it, means that I can do more of it. So that's like given me this really good, that the thing that I've been most passionate about has then done really well commercially, so that, yeah, I can do more of it. If it sunk, I'd have still done some, but it wouldn't have been as many, and it would have been that, like, why does nobody like the thing I like? So this is really cool. So let me just go there. Too many tabs. I'm on a computer, so tabs open everywhere. Just compliments my hair. Thank you. I saw myself in that last stream and went, God, look at the state. I used to make sure I looked nice before a stream, and now I just sort of rock up. And because my hair was all faded out and I had the yellow one, I was like, oh, I'm so drained of life. And I managed to find enough in the cupboard, the dregs to mix together. So I'm happy with that. So yeah, Kickstarter has been ace, and if you missed it, I will be, once the pledge manager up, I'm going to give it another boost because it's getting all this attention now. So everyone's going, "But I missed it." I'm like, yep, algorithms. So yeah, I'm so happy. I'll be talking more about that with Claude and Marcel. Mix up the topics. Okay. I'll briefly mention Trey. That's why I was late, because I was reading. Oh God, I'll just not read it anymore. So it's a short bit of news that if you're on Facebook, you would have seen. Um, so Redbox Games is somebody that I used to chat to now and again, like 10 years ago. And it's been, there's kind of like a social between sort of small businesses and stuff. So he's kind of always in that sort of group of people that, talk about what it's like making minis, asking for recommendations, that sort of like network thing. Um, and he's just gone off the rails, but he's been on these tirades for the last week. And they're foul. They're really foul. And he's really just given himself away. and I can't even like repeat most of it. But if you're interested, I'm sure I won't be sending him new customers. If you're watching this, you're not going to be a fan. Obviously, content warning for everything, but he's just being every sort of intolerant ismist sort of thing on there. Um, and it was extra sad. Someone that I'd have as an acquaintance. So again, a long time ago, but posting, stuff like that he's disgusted. I'm like, oh, cheers, Trey. That's nice. Thanks for that. Oh yeah, I haven't had my sip of my coffee today. So, uh, what? What a disgusting person I am. And it's bizarre because I've had all these people going, "Are you sure you should be this political by making anti-fascist World War II figurines?" Like, it's not though. It's literally like it's what they did. They fought the fascists. Um, so people being concerned that I was going to tank my business that way, and then there's Trey just on the other side. It's just absolutely. He's saying that he's getting 1 billion more customers from it, but I do not think so. But yeah, um, I normally wouldn't mention. I'm smiling because it's so surreal. It is so surreal that like you think you know someone. He's been dodgy for a while, but he's definitely radicalized over the years, or just been able to say the horrible things. And it is so exceptionally horrible. It's not that like, oh well, we all have different viewpoints. It's the stuff this guy is preaching is. I'm surprised Facebook. Well, I'm not surprised Facebook hasn't taken it down. But it's just kind of sad seeing your peers do that, basically. Um, so yeah, obviously won't tell you to not buy from them, but maybe if you do, have a little peek because he is fully out there with it. He's not hiding it anymore. Woo! So yeah, we got that. So across trail. I think I blocked him around COVID time, so I haven't spoke to him in that long. But and you'll guess why. So what have I got? Oh, trenches. I'll show you some minis. Let's yeah, he's basically just like on this like sweary tirade and then saying that people can't argue. It's very odd. Um, so yesterday I spent the entire day making trench crusade things, um, and learning trench crusade things, and I'm really chuffed with them. Nothing's finished yet. I'm just bringing them. This is my piece de resistance. So I had Mr. Mangling Minis. I don't know if he's here. He's made me 2 minis that are converted Bad Squiddo minis for Trench Crusade. So the reason I'm Trench Crusading, you're like, what, Annie? Where does this come from? So on Tuesday, the Trench Crusade backdrop book Kickstarter is launching, and I've got the link there, and it's my special link. And if you click and back from that, I get a Mars bar. Maybe I'll get 2 Mars bars. So I'm helping John with the promotion for that, which I do with the other backdrop Kickstarters. And realised that I don't really have anything to photograph them on, so now's the ideal time. So I didn't want to just find some Bad Squiddo minis that looked a bit trenchy. I want to really get into it, and I've been watching John building the latest video. I don't think it's live yet, but he's made this video, and it's again going, you don't just get into stuff a little bit, do you, John? And he's built this like enormous I think his entire workshop is now a trench, with an endless backdrop, and just like all of the smoke machines and everything. So I thought, yeah, I should probably try and match that a little bit. I don't know if I'll fully. So he's inspired it. So I actually did quite a lot yesterday. So I thought, right, I've got these 2 from Tara, and I can't just. Tara is Mangling Minis. I can't just photograph them endlessly on stuff, and it seems a bit disingenuous going, I'm photographing my trench things that I haven't even made myself. And part of getting involved was to go, yeah, now it's an excuse to do some cool conversion stuff. So yesterday I was like, right, Kickstarter in a couple days, I should probably do something now. So what do I start with? So I haven't chosen a particular faction because I've just wanted to make some cool stuff for photos. Um, the likelihood of me playing is very low, as the likelihood of me playing anything is very low. Um, and I thought I'm just gonna be honest with it rather than go, hey, I love building my trench, because I'm not. I'm probably not gonna play it. Um, and again, that's nothing. This is John going, Annie, no. It's nothing on trench. It's just I don't play. I just don't play things. I don't have time. Although I am still eyeing up Necropolis. But so I thought I'm not. What I enjoy doing lately is when I have built stuff, it's building stuff because I want to rather than I have to for something. So I thought I could try and build, a whole war band, but that's going to be a struggle for me. So I've basically picked my favorite models from across or favorite troop types from across the game. Um, and then obviously I want to see how I can put Bad Squiddo into it and how I can convert them, because I didn't want to just do the out of the box thing. Also, I can't because it's the Kickstarter, the previous Kickstarter. Um, so I thought, yeah, I'm gonna make some conversions. I'm looking at it now. Oh, you can see a little bit of it. So it took me a while to get in the groove, and I was thinking, what am I doing? I suck at this. So this is not finished. I just slapped on a few base colours last night, but I'm well chuffed with it. Look at this. This is a desecrated saint. I wanted a big thing. Um, so I've made it out of Mammoth Mini's female ghoul, female ghoul giant. There's the body of it. And then I'm happy to have lots of Ristal in here too. Again, it's not going to focus. Of course, it's not. There's a monster head from Ristal's. This is one of the statues, and that was the. Oh, there we are. Ooh. So that's one of the Cthulhu statues where they're being. But the desecrated saint, from my understanding, from my reading of it, is that they were going to be a saint, and then they did a load of bad stuff, so they're now cursed. So they kind of get carried around. Their corpses or souls get carried around on these big constructs, and everything they kill gets added. The back's not as, but it's mostly for photo. I'm not going to photograph the back, but I did cover it's her. Did cover that area. The only bit it looks a bit rubbish from is that angle. No one sees that angle. But even from here, it's basically all the tentacles are coming out the back. But I didn't want to sculpt that. Well, I'll just put a cloak on. Not with a cloak. She's going to be photographed like that. So no one sees the back. So the idea, yeah, is that's the poor soul being carried around. Could have been a saint, but they're not now. And I've put a load of our tentacles on there. That's another of the. I think it's the heads we don't produce anymore. We've been taking quite a bit off the range just to trim it down a bit. But obviously I've still got spares. That's going to be a big medallion. And yeah, it's just some sort of creature with tentacles coming. Oh, one peeping out there. Obviously I've just whacked the colours on, and I'm going to put a whole bunch of Tamiya red on that baby. Yes. And whiten it up, blood splatter it, put that almost to white. And I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy. So the cloak is made from a pair of, well, not a whole pair of pants, but a bit of some pants, because I made it with yeah, that's good. I made it with tissue before, and it just wasn't really working. So I thought I need some fabric. So I was looking around at what fabric. I did want to use a sock, but my socks were all rubbish. They're a bit thick, I think. So yeah, it's the god of pants, and I've managed to join some of my bad green stuffing in there as well. So I'm really happy with that. So it's not finished, but I'm hoping by the end of today, my desecrated saints, it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. So I'll pop that one there, and then I'll show you my other little bits I've been working on. Annie does hobby. Whoop. Whoa, come on, fellas. Does look like some sort of religious maniac. I was just making all these crosses. So I've just been making some basic terrain. So mostly for the background, they're just on pennies and things. Because Berlin Tuesday, Paul has made me 2 really nice trenches as terrain. which I'm going to use for a lot of the photos because they're so good. And there's even one of them's got like a nice little bit around the other side. But I want these sort of in the background, so I didn't need to put too much madness on them. But I'm pretty happy with the little basic little coffee stirrers. So I've got that cross and these crucifixes. They'll be vampire safe. Or just basic, and they're just for the back, just to add a bit of depth in the background. Some little ones on pennies, little Annie's crosses. Oh, oh, it's not much space. I'm on the sofa. And I made these. Oh. She's okay. She's okay. And a couple of the shriney bits as well. I'd be tempting to put some candles on. Really enjoyed it. I didn't at the start. I will admit, I didn't at the start. I think it was because I kind of well, not because I have to do it. It was that like at the moment I'll talk about it in a bit, but my extreme busyness. I'm kind of going. There's other stuff I could be doing, and it was almost like I tricked myself by going, well, it is work, and I was like, but no, I'm working. But I did. The fact that I was supposed to do it for about half a day and then do some of the World War II, and I ended up because I was in the groove doing it all day, and it was like 9, 10 o'clock. I went, I'm going to make some terrain as well. So while the buzz is on, so I've got these little shrines. I'm really chuffed for if I can get these painted today. It's going to be ace because I get cursed at leaving things at 80% done. This one I'm super happy with. You won't be able to see most of it, but it's Lumilia, and I've used her as a I can't remember what they're called now. They're snipers. They're snipers that have gouged their eyes out. So she's got a little cloth that I've green stuffed over her eyes. And I'm really happy. It looks like I know what I'm doing. And again, just getting them together yesterday and a bit of undercoat on, and I ran out of day, but that's one of my little bony bits. Sniper priest, yeah, she's a sniper and the priest. I couldn't really fit across, so she's just kind of got it there. So I was happy. It's always nice to paint some bad Squiddo minis. I'm going to use this as a tank hunter. This is our bitch, sculpted by Tim Prow, and I've put a bit of the alien mound on the base, and then a load of. It was only quite late yesterday. I went, oh yeah, I've got a glue gun. So I started mucking around with a glue gun and made some globby bits there. So that's just going to be some horrible blood floor. And then my silly thing, because I got Potato Pete and Dr. Carrot out, and I went, I'm going to make grimdark versions of them. So can't quite see. He's got like what is that goat skull on his hat, and Dr. Carrot's got the scream mask. You see it on his hat, and I'm just gonna paint them like horrible skin, with obviously some bleedy eyes and stuff. And it was some sort of thralls that they're gonna be friends with Grandma. She's gonna be in there. But some horrible Potato Pea and Dr. Carrot, the roots of evil. Oh my god, using it. So I did all that yesterday. So I'm well happy with that. So I will hopefully then by next week practically have some things to photograph, which will then give me more excitement for the backdrops. I don't know if this has been unveiled yet, but I'm sure John won't kill me for telling people, and whether he's watching this and again crying. I don't know actually. No, I can't tell you. If he's watching, I'll get him if you comment, and I'll message you and ask if I could tell them. But there's some cool stuff, and some of the designs are going to be very. So you've got your trenches, and then another load are going to be all like freaky and fleshy. So once we've got some samples of those, they're going to be perfect for photographing on. So that's exciting. So there's going to be some really cool stuff. I've got a sampler book, but I think it's about 10 designs, but there's going to be a lot. So I don't want to overuse those. I'm kind of want to get some more. So we're going to have some more available. Obviously, by the time the Kickstarter launches Tuesday, we want to have lots that people can see to back it. But yeah, I'm going to have so much fun, and I love photographing minis for. in general, but it gives you that there's a purpose to it, which I think is why I've managed to create that much stuff, because I'm not just creating for the sake of it. There's an aim. So they're going, right, so yeah, it's a desecrated saint. And I had all my bits, got like, but I've got basically my spares box at the house, and from where I've got samples from things that first cast and all that. So well, that's interesting actually. I forgot to wash a bunch of the resin, just realised, and it's fine. I still recommend washing it, because I did go, oh, we'll have to go back and sort of scrub it whilst it's got the green stuff. It's fine. The tentacles, I didn't wash any of them. That's good. So you will see in my social media the next 2 weeks. It's going to be very Trench Crusade featured, and yeah, I want to get people back in the Trench Crusade books. So if that's your thing, I have put a little link down there. But you don't have to use them for Trench Crusade either. They're just like grotty, grim, dark, freaky. I'm sure they'll be very good for Warhammer type things, or things like Necropolis. Just anything a bit grotty and warlike, I think. I can't wait to finish that. I think it's going to look good once it's done. I hope I don't wreck it. So yeah, that was mine. Now for something different. I've been making reels and TikToks again, which is nice, because I realise I mostly do TikToks when I'm doing stuff with John, because that's the motivation to do it. Because when it's my stuff, I'm like, oh, I've got to do a TikTok. But when it's like, oh, I need to show off, I need to show off to John, then I end up doing loads. The British is good for foresty backgrounds. There's not a ton of forests in there, to be fair. The main one, the one that's got a really good forest bit, is probably book one. We got book one. The ruins may have, on each one there's a bit that shows you all of the paintings before you buy it. But I know there's definitely some foresty bits in the first one. That's the one I was using. My lady's killing Nazis in the woods. Oh yeah, pine forests. Yeah, that's a good one. What's Pandemonium? Mosaic pics? Yes, it's so fun. Put some pre-cut MDF bases from all base, exclude some kraut cover. Yes. Oh yeah, I've had a massive kraut cover restock. There's actually dark left because I ordered so much of it. But it is getting through there. So if you want some, go get it. Because it's wild. There's a new one, Pride of the Riddermark, as well. So yeah. Mm. I did put extra milk in this beer. Yeah, everyone should get backdrop books because they're ace. That's the general. That's why I help with the promoting of them, because I just love them. And you can tell because pretty much every photo I take has got, it's like, right, what backdrop book shall I use? Which image, rather than what shall I have as the backdrop? Just occasionally I might use a bit of cliff or a bit of nature. I was feeling a bit bad. If I go out and take a lovely nature photo with a mini and I send it to John, I can imagine him going, why use nature when you can use my book? Because that's how he speaks. He goes, why I order. That's him. He's a terrifying man. So you should click back the Kickstarter with my link so he doesn't kill me. Yes, there is a very good guide on Handiwork Games website for making just a little. Yeah, you just need to make a tiny little and it works. That's why me and John have to restrain ourselves a bit. Mostly me having to restrain John from making these. It's really good to show off all of this crazy stuff, but you really do just need a plinth, and they look really good. We had a good chat actually after the Kickstarter, and I was talking to John, and then at the end of the chat I said, "And there's a bloody good testimonial for you," because I'd taken a whole bunch of pictures, and I'd got the latest batch of painted minis in from John. So right, I need to photograph them to update the website. And I hate photographing on white. And I took a bunch of pictures and I wasn't quite in the mood and I had stuff everywhere. And I went, no, I've got to do it. It's like, oh, I've got to do it. Photographed them, put them all on the bigger screen on the computer, and went, these are crap. And I think I posted and people were like, I'm sure they won't be as good. I'm like, nah, they're crap. They're just not, they're not it. And they're not, especially if they're, when I'm supposed to be showing off the model as well. And they're not selling these figures at all. Like, they're just not. And a large bit is when you photograph on white, it's frozen auto balance off on the cameras, and they struggle with like the shadows, so it makes your mini darker, because of the compensating for the white. And but I was like, I've got to do it. You can't just not. So I'd kind of had a cup of tea, sat down, went, right, let's do it again. I had quite a bit of a tidy as well, a big tidy. And then I photographed a bunch straight onto the backdrops, and they do look so much better. And instead of doing plain ones and cutting them out and then putting them on some graphics, so I'm just instead of putting them on the picture of the brick wall, just going to photograph them by the brick wall, and they just look so much nicer. And I said I'm really tempted, although I'll never have time and it's another task, to just re-photograph my entire catalogue, because some of them I was looking at going, oh, these are old pictures as well, or somewhere I've wanted to put it out before I've got the proper picture, so I've used like the painter's picture, which would be like a low res, cut it out really badly, put it as a thumbnail, not updated it. And now I'm thinking, I'm tempted, because I did want them all to have these recognizable blue behind them. I am tempted to slowly go through the entire catalogue and re-photograph everything on a John Hodgson backdrop, which I can do with my John Hodgson license. I think it'll just look so much, it'll just really shows the minis off. And I was having that as a really earnest chat with John, and it's like, these are really good. Yes, they are really good. Nobody's here to witness this conversation. We're not there in the show going, wow, these really are great. Like, they really are. And I am considering it. I'm thinking about it at very least for the upcoming minis, because I don't want to photograph them on. I'll do it by ranges if I do, so they don't look weird. I'll do it by sub ranges. But yeah, for example, all the Winter Soviets I could do and just put them in front of the winter backdrops, and it'd just be nice. So where was I at? Yeah, I don't want to photograph the new ones on white, cut them out, and then be annoyed that they don't look quite right. I just want to put them in these lovely thumbnails with the little bricks behind them, and I think that would be sweet. What have I not shown you? So I've got that Kickstarter to discuss, but I don't want to just be throwing Kickstarters at you. What else we got? So so thanks Berlin Tuesday making me that trench as well, because that was ace. What on earth is that? Oh, trench Kickstarter. That's what I've written. I've talked about that. Oh yeah. So the new. I was saying that the climbs. I like calling it the climbs book. The warm climbs book's one of my favourites, because when I first did it, I went, oh, it's all desert. I can only use it for desert stuff. And then the more I look through it, like, that's why he didn't call it just a desert, because it's not. But there's a really nice Mediterranean sort of like wooded areas they're going to be really good for so much. But yeah, when I was looking, I just went, oh, that's just like, sand. But it's not. And I think I've enjoyed it at the moment because it's bright, because I've been doing a lot of so things are so grim dark, because I was doing the war, and in a lot of blown up cities and things, and now I'm doing trench Crusade and it's all in the mud. So between doing that sort of stuff and they're going bright sun, blue skies, let's put some fantasy stuff. Just so I don't just go entirely into the land of grimdark. Oh, Gasland shots, yes. There's a few bits look a bit like in Fury Road, where they go between those up cliffs, which call it, like the big rocky not mountain, big bits of rock, and they make a little path through the rock. Yeah, there's a few bits like that where I thought of that, because I thought about photographing my little guinea pig stuff, third guinea pig stuff. To curse it, but this stream has been fine, hasn't it? It hasn't explode, which is my theory, that Andy does stuff. Andy's downloading while I'm streaming normally, but he's not here. Artillery witches need mini breaks to Scarper too. Oh yeah, that's Artillery Witch was one of the things I was going to make, but she's not in this batch. Nothing gets added to the batch. The batch must be completed before anything else, and it will be completed today. So help me God. Actually, the other thing I've got is these teeth. Yeah, Rocky Elk is Mesa. Yeah, make a war rig. I think these are Somdenarian's teeth. They sent me them when I bought a long Furby, and I thought I'm not even going to bother basing it. This will be a really good photo at the front. So I like it when it sometimes just covers the base lip and stuff. So you put this, say I'm the camera, you put it like there. So you just get the blurry bit of it. And it's just a cast of some teeth. I've sprayed it and painted it cream, and then I'm gonna grot it up, just black highlight, grot it up, and then put a load of Tamia blood on all of the big bleedy gumminess, I think. So that's just gonna be a little experimental, which is why I haven't bothered with a base, because it's only gonna photograph the edge bit, and I can pop some scan. Now I took a couple more grimdarks for myself as well, because I've been getting through it, just scarring it everywhere. Everything's got grimdark scattered on it now. Top tip, if you are desperate for grimdark and there ends up not being any, which there is at the moment. Which one is it? Common Earth, I think. One of them is very similar, but the mix without the bones. So if you keep the bones separate, you can just pop them in. Another crowd cover thing. I've only had a small play with this. This was another of my things to do this weekend. Copious Earth. Look at this. You're all good. Torn off a bit. Crowd putty. I haven't put it onto the website yet because I forgot, but it will be on there. And I only bought a few because I bought one for me because it says what caught my eye was texture roller compatible. And I thought, what's the difference between this and Das Clay? So I'm going to find out. I used a tiny bit on the base of the guy. The guy's not a guy, the lady. On the base, but that doesn't really show anything because you could just use anything for that. What I want to do is spread it out. I've got the rollers here and show it with the rollers. And my first impression is I think the rollers are going to love it. They'll love it because it's not sticky. It's got this like marshmallowy. No, don't eat. So I'm going to see how that goes, because one of the things I want to do is a little lineup of all these different putties and how you can use the rollers on them. Because I showed it with green stuff, but if you do the whole thing in green stuff, it's expensive because it doesn't really go far. So I want to show these larger blocks and how you can use them. It says no shrinkage on it as well, which is also interesting. So I will put it up on the website, but I'll also show you my experiments with it. So, oh God, I've been here. At 12, it is today, isn't it? Let me check my email, my tabs. At 12 o'clock, booking.com, post-holiday blues, Anne. I only went for a weekend. Right into there. You are registered. What do I have to do? What is this? Sorry, I'm just looking at me checking I have the right day. Why do they not have the details? Sorry. That is today. That is today. I think I don't understand how it works, but I believe. God, that's such a vague email. It's me reading. Yes, it's Gloucester History Festival, and you can buy online tickets, just to watch online because I'm not going to go to Gloucester. So as far as I know, it's at 12 o'clock. It's because it lasts for like a few weeks in case you miss it. So I think the live is 12 o'clock today, I believe. Obviously going to watch live so I can get some questions in. So it's Janina Ramirez on her new book Legenda, and it's her first talking about it, and she's one of my favourites. So I'm gonna watch that online at 12 theoretically if I've got it all right. Um, I'd have gone. The thing about Gloucester History Fest, they have some really cool talks on, but it's over a week. And I did look at going last year, and everything was so expensive. It's like intellectuals. Are you going to the Janina talk? Is it at 12? Have I got that right? I'll try and get a question in then, and I can sneak a message. Nice. So that'll be cool. So if you're cool. So if discuss it afterwards. If you are bored, in an hour, you can look up Gloucester History Festival, and for £7, you can also watch this talk on Legenda. I've got the book pre-ordered as well, and I know from the blurb that she mentioned Joan of Arc and Olga of Kiev. That was enough for me to go. She doesn't know who I am, but she will. She will one day. One day. Um, she's just very, very cool and very suits my brain for people to be able to listen to, because she's also kind of all over the place in a good way. So she's talking about how women have been sort of immortalized and then used for sort of propagandary purposes across, I think, sort of medieval-y era, because that's her thing. So that'll be interesting. So yeah, 12 o'clock. If you're bored, come along. Come along. Um, things. Oh, I forgot. I was on the Sisters of Eldar podcast, a podcast show. They're featuring all sorts of different women of Warhammer. I'm a woman of Warhammer. So I will be one of those. So I'll share it when it's live, but I think it'll be like a few weeks. So that was cool. I'm talking non-stop because this is what's been happening. Everything. I do not rest until I go to Belgium now. So I ran out of time doing everything I wanted to in the Kickstarter, which was also why it was awesome that it did so well, because I was going, this was supposed to be ready. This was supposed to be ready, and it wasn't. But it still went really well. But it's been like, woo, that. And now I'm doing the Trench Crusade stuff, but I'm also doing the back the end part of the Kickstarter. So I need to design 2 figures. Also then build the pledge manager and do a bunch of videos and stuff like that, as well as the endless day-to-day grind. I have it's all a good grind though. Hey, it's Kurtz from Ramshackle. Look at the teeth. Woo, teeth. Um, I sorted the shipping. I know I said this in the last stream, but I sorted the shipping. Can ship to America and to the EU with you just paying that price, and then you don't pay anything and it gets there quicker. I am still dealing with crap from shipping to EU without doing the duties paid, which is what made me go, while I'm doing America, I'll do EU at the same time with a whole other shipping service. But it will be it's duties paid. They're just going through now, like whew, whew. The ones I'm dealing with are the ones from before doing that. So I'm really chuffed with that. I just need people to know. So if ever you're seeing people go, oh, where can I order? I'm overseas. Bad Squiddo. So all that sort of admin-y bits, there's all that to do. I've been trying to get through emails because it's shocking some of the people applied to. For example, Alan there emailed me the day after Expo or something, and that's still in my inbox. But I keep them. I read them and go, yes. But if they're not to do with anything super like right now must be dealt with, they just sort of fade away. But then occasionally I go through them all. But then I get back to a certain point and I go, I can't reply to those now. They'll email again maybe. So there's just a lot to do at the moment, but it's all good. I've got to keep my momentum up. But then at the end of it, so like a day after the Kickstarter, Trench Crusade Kickstarter finishes, I'm going to Belgium. I'm out of here. I'll be going to Camping Kit Bash again, which last year was one of the best times of my life ever. So I'm really excited. It's where a whole bunch of people, some sort of industry people, but just generally people, lots of artist types, and just cool people, and we all just kit bash stuff. for a weekend and share skills, and there's more workshops than there was last year. And we just built, it's where I did a whole bunch of sculpting faces last year. I just really loved it. Um, and just the people were nice, and it was just like a fun school holiday without the trauma of it being a school holiday. Like the sharing the bunks and everything, and it was just really fun and wholesome. So I'm doing that again, and that's pretty much a day, I think, after the Trench Crusade Kickstarter ends. And I say jet setting, I'm going on the Eurostar off out of here. And I am staying for a little bit afterwards to do some research in Belgium. What Belgian resistance? What Belgian places to look up Belgian resistance? What, hanging out with legitimate Belgians? So I will get a nice little treat there. Belgian beer research, exactly. So I'm really excited for that. So that's my little light at the end of the tunnel of just not getting much of a break. But the bonus is most of the stuff I'm doing is really fun. So it's not like, I'm doing a grind of accounting for like a while. It's like, oh no, I'm going to be so busy painting this guy. But I do very much need that time where there's just nothing, where I can just go, ah. Um, but yeah, so I'm super hyped for all that. Everything that's coming up is really good. The money from the Kickstarter will fill some holes, which will be really nice as well, and take some stress off there. So everything's going really well at the moment. So I know that you've got to just keep pushing for it all. Maybe this time next year I'll be a million. Mm. The other bit, I didn't mean to leave them till last actually, is oh, I'm a splodge trying to fight off a cold. Yeah, you go do that and don't get that cold. See you, pandemonium. So somebody, this is the proof that I do listen to recommendations. Someone on Instagram recommended this, and I knew about Claude through university from being an art student, but not in the resistance way. And I went, oh, that rings a bell. This is interesting. So I read this cartoon by Kaz, who's a YouTuber, who I'm also trying to get to notice me at the moment. um, so it's the story of Claude Coon and Marcel, who go into them in a moment. So that was my starter. They got up in the Kickstarter, and so I went, oh, better research them a bit more. So I've got the photo file, which is just all of the different works from them. And this is the book that I've been glued to. So I did take a bit of a chill day. I think it was Tuesday where I mostly read. So I need to get through this book. It's just so good. Now I'm just reading. Let's just read it again. So the gist of these two, Claude's a lot more well known, but from reading it, and the author Jeffrey is very keen on making sure people know. Marcel's did a lot of stuff as well. I'm talking about, there's a book they reference, which is about partners of famous artists and how much they would have actually been, in different cases, been collaborators with the stuff because they're pressing the camera button and doing all this. I've talked for a lot. It'd be quite nice actually after talking for ages. I'll then clean the guinea pigs out. It got quite quiet actually, and then I can sit and just watch Janina for a bit. Uh, so yes, so they're two artists. How do I sum this up? They're two artists in Paris. I reckon now they probably would have fallen under non-binary, but I'm still not sure. I've been referring to them as non-binary. I think I will, but they're, at the time there wasn't a word for it. So they're two women that are lesbians, a lesbian couple, and they do so much with this sort of rejection of gender. Was it on? I'll just flick through it. What was it, that bit? Masculine, feminine, depends on the situation. So it was before those sort of words were used. Binary repelling, I like that. So they do. So they're doing some art. They're living in Paris with lots of other famous artists at the time. war breaks out, move to Jersey, which they've already been to quite a lot as well, so a bit of familiarity with it. So they move to Jersey. Jersey gets occupied, and the book's really good at telling you about the Jersey occupation, because I didn't know anything about it. It's the general Channel Islands, and how their experience of as artists and creative people then puts them into this resistance um, category. So they're outsiders. They're having to pretend that they're not a couple because you can't do that. You can get away with it in Paris, but not in Jersey. So there's some quirky sisters. They're kind of just distrustful of the normies. So they don't get involved in any like resistance groups. Lucy's got quite a lot of different illnesses. So I think she says, she would have loved to have gone and, joined the resistance in Paris and stuff, but she couldn't. So it's like, what can I do with what I've got? So throughout the occupation, basically, they are making flyers, what's the word? Propaganda. I'm sure there's a term for it. But that sort of fake information, but probably not fake either. But instead of information that's going to civilians to say the war is bad, they pretended to be somebody called the unnamed soldier, and they targeted the general standard German soldiers, hoping that there would be a disparity between your standard troop and your officer, your hardcore, which there was. So it was pretending to be from within the ranks. So there was then distrust of the people, that the soldiers are then like, who is this? Which one of you? Somebody here is not happy with the situation. So yes, psychological warfare. So it was paper bullets, one of the terms. So yeah, just saying, like, whilst we're here in Jersey, maybe our wives and kids are killed back in Germany, what's going on there? And like, oh wow, our superiors dine on these fancy meals, and here we are eating scraps, and that sort of and so that's all true. Psyop, yeah. So that sort of stuff targeted is all super dangerous, and it would be just like going along, sneaking something in a pocket, or breaking into somewhere and distributing, and all this sort of stuff. It's fascinating. I will not be able to fit it all into this, but I'm gonna type it up properly and then do a video at some point. And it's just showing that you can do things like without much, anyone can do a small act of resistance, which can have a really big effect. And it was talking about some of the other bits, just like turning signs upside down or whatever. And yeah, they eventually do get caught, and they think one of the shop owners had gone, those over there. But the story, so part of the book, earlier than I expected, they're in jail, and they get sentenced to death. And spoiler, they live. And the experience in jail is a really interesting story as well, because they end up making friends with deserted German troops, and it kind of proves their point. These are, a lot of them are just some lads that have gone, oh yeah, you should go to this, and then they've gone seen the horrors, same way that Hans Scholl did, and a whole bunch of the White Rose went, this isn't what we were told. We were sold a different thing, and are we the baddies? And even some of the jailers, because that wasn't their general occupation, it's the job they'd been assigned, ended up being quite nice. And weirdly, the after war memoirs are really interesting, because they end up missing this camaraderie that they had in jail, because they come back out and they're weirdos again. And I don't think they really fit back in anywhere afterwards. But just the human experience of the people that they're talking to in jail. And partly, maybe we're near the end of the war, they know it's not going to end well, so they're just being a little bit more lenient and that sort of thing. but the stories of just them and some of the stuff that the soldiers were saying to them, because they were political prisoners rather than a civilian. It was just really interesting, and yeah, sort of validating that, you know, some acts of resistance, you can just sort of open people's eyes a little bit to what, you know, like what they're being made to do. And some of the stuff that the soldiers were saying, it was all just, again, exactly what they'd been um writing to them about, you know, like they're off looting, and yeah, having these massive dine outs and all this, and the soldiers are getting treated like crap. And then they are getting this sort of propaganda at them going, do you think this is the last war? And as it's gone on and their sort of morale's gone, they've gone, that's right, you know, we're just going to go to another bloody war after this, what's the point? And it was just really interesting insight, um and really interesting that once they're released, it's just not the same anymore. And that they said that this almost camaraderie that the island kind of um had then almost faded, and everyone went back to not being mates anymore. So it's like, oh, all these different people are united against a common enemy, and now it's not that great. And that was just a really interesting insight. Um, what have I got? So Lucy gets pretty sick afterwards, um, and yeah, they don't seem to have the best time. What have we got here? Oh, and I've been so unsure how to portray them because but I think I'm getting there. I think I'm going to do them in their series. But they've got a cat that they walk on leads. There's going to be a cat involved, and I'm going to be thinking about it while I'm painting this trench stuff. But yeah, talking about Jersey, and then I went, I want to go to Jersey. No, Annie, you can't afford to go to Jersey. Um, but yeah, it was just absolutely fascinating story. And their trial was really interesting as well because their brain they're being forced to have a defense lawyer, which they don't want because they're like, yeah, we did it and we'd do it again. And the defense lawyer hates them because he is quite, you know, obviously you've got your disparity between the German troops. He very much is disgusted by them and hates them. He's of the Trey manor. Um, he's not a fan of them. So he doesn't even want to represent them, but he has to because it's his job, and they don't want him there. So it's just there's at one point Marcel says something like he makes her feel the closest to hatred that she's ever felt, and then that made her extra angry because of how he made her feel that. Like they're dealing with, you know, the worst criminals ever, the Nazis, but this lawyer is just the like, oh, that guy. Like, yeah, I get that. Like, that guy. Um, and they try to, well, coerce them into signing like a plea bargain type thing. And they won't because they're like, well, um, I'm gonna be you're going to kill us. There is no way that any of this is gonna save us. It just makes you look good, so we're not gonna sign it. And then they're arguing with the lawyer who's like, you have to sign it. My job is to make you sign it. And like, well, we're not signing it. And all that sort of stuff is just really, really interesting. So yeah, I could talk about them for ages, but the stuff that they do is absolutely wild. And as I've tried to kind of get across that they are exceptional in what they did, but there are also so many people doing this. And it was talking about the start, they're a bit sort of uppity and like, oh, we're the only ones resisting. And then as it goes on, they realize that lots of people are actually doing stuff. Um, so it's just that like hope from it that, you know, you can make a difference and you can make a small difference as well, without having to be, you know, on the front line, just by sneaking a few little bits in people's pockets. Start doing that. Was yeah, I could go on about it for ages. We're in an hour now, so I should probably. Well, I need to design 2 miniatures that represent all of that. Yes. So I think I've got a good idea for them. And Alan is sculpting away on the other last three, but as soon as he's finished them, I want to make sure I've got the brief to get on that. Um, and then at least have some sort of idea for when I put the pledge manager up, so people know what they're pledging for what they're going to get. Right, I think that's everything on my little list for today. My little list of proxies. No. Right, I've talked absolutely non-stop. Also, I emailed myself to message Kinsfolk, and he's there. Hi. He sent me some really cool books. They've arrived and they're awesome. And I was waiting to have a proper look at them, send you a proper message. But thank you very much, because they are awesome and they're going to get made. Terrain decal set with posters. There's a few I've kind of just seen online, just little posters. But yeah, there's just so much to go with this. So I want to do, I've had people going, oh, now they're seeing it after the Kickstarter. They're like, well, that's hardly all of the Resistance people. You forgot. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm gonna do a lot more. This is not a comprehensive list of them, but I will, yeah. So the next announcement, the next Kickstarter is going to be Dutch Resistance, and it's going to have a tie-in with rules for these with Forbidden Psalm. That'll be obviously once this is all fulfilled and stuff. What? I should use that as an excuse to go to Amsterdam? What? So yeah, cool. Right, I'm pigs are gnawing. Get them done. Get myself all tucked in my little nest. I reckon Alan's headed off. And I'll watch some Janina. And yeah, if you're interested, I've linked it in Baggy's Cave. You have to scroll down a little bit. But yeah, that'll be at 12, which isn't that long. And she's gonna be talking about some cool ladies for a mere £7. So yeah, you should go along. Right, cheers. Thanks for coming along. You're all wicked. Oh, he's still there. You should get going. Get going. All right, thank you. I've got nothing else on the show and tell. All right, thank you. You are the best. Bye. Look at this now. There we are. Bye.